How do I do this? Is that what boxers do?
Yeah, something like that. Sensei, when can we do the upside down flying side spinning back kick with a flying fist? Wow, I wish I could do that. Dojo, what does it mean? It means school. Most people think they have to do martial arts at a martial arts school, a dojo, just like this one. But that's not necessarily true. Back in the day, the dojo was anywhere that you were able to move. It could be outside, it could be in your basement, it could be in your bedroom, it could be at a park, or it could be at a martial arts school, like this one, the dojo. How much room or what equipment do we need at the dojo? Well, when you have nothing, you make do with what you have. If you go to a stock martial arts school, they'll have a bunch of things like I do here. Punching bags, bobs, mirrors that you can see yourself in full length. That's fantastic. But back in the day, and the best martial artists never had that. They actually used something much, much more important. They used focus and imagination. Focus and imagination. That's one of the reasons why people come to martial arts schools for their kids. They want them to focus, be a little bit more confident, and use those skills in life. So we teach that here. Back in the day, dojos were outside in a beach, in a jungle, in a clearing path, and most students only had maybe 2 or 3 meters around them. So if you look at these squares here, we have 1 meter, 2 meter. So if you have that much room, that's good enough to use as your dojo. So you could be outside in the park again. You could be at home in a room. Make sure there's nothing around that you can knock over. Imagine you're in your living room and there's a lamp, and there goes the lamp. There goes your practice, lamp break. Your mom or dad is not going to be very happy with you doing your karate practice. And maybe they might discourage you from doing that. Go outside, do your punches and kicks out there. Perfect. Outside, fresh air, sun, in the rain, it doesn't matter. Back in the day, rain or shine, you do your martial arts. Again, at a dojo, at a martial arts school, outside, your basement, any room in the house, you could do it. Here's an example of doing karate in a small space. I'm going to just go back and forth doing some basic. What can you do? Stuff I already showed you in previous videos. Keep watching those videos, keep practicing with me, keep doing them and repeating them. That's how you become good at martial arts. You do it till you overwhelm your boredom. Once you can go past the boredom section, you actually become better. So here I am as a kid, I'm doing my martial arts, and I'll go into I only have 2 meters, okay? I'll go into my stance, my front stance. Here we go. And I'm just gonna practice my walk. This is the space I have. My arms are beside me like I'm carrying 2 suitcases. Using our imagination, there's a whole bunch of people right beside me. So I must be able to walk perfectly straight and using my body properly so that my weapons, in this case bows, but I tell my students they're two-sided swords, like Darth Maul from Star Wars. And if they move this way, you might cut or injure the person beside you. And if they move this way, they might cut or injure the other person beside you. Or if they move too much, you might cut yourself. Not very good. At the beginning, I teach them to use 2 suitcases, and then if they're still not getting it, I'll get them to use the bows. You're walking feet together and apart, feet together and apart, feet together and apart, backwards, feet together and apart. And you just do this over and over again. And 4. Keep just doing that over and over. Make sure your back leg is straight, your knees over your toes, you can't see them, and your head straight up. You want to be doing this so that if you're relaxed, start looking like this and you're swinging. So this is not very good. Once you've mastered the walking, going back and forth, then comes the techniques. Again, I like taking things apart. If we learn 50 things, we do 50 things not very well. If we learn one thing, we can master it and go to the next thing and build in our skill set. And that's the ideal way you want to learn karate. Everybody wants to learn how to fight and be the biggest superhero, be in the UFC, but it starts with the boring, monotonous, hard work training. The training is about the mind, not about the body. You have to overcome your thoughts of, this is boring, I want to do something more exciting. And remember, this is not TV. I don't have strings and pulleys. I don't have stuntmen replacing me. In the real world, those things don't exist. And that's why it is very difficult to become good at something unless you practice. In music, one of the goals of most musicians is to go to Carnegie Hall. How to get to Carnegie Hall? Well, one way, practice. That's the key. So again, small dojo, small area. We've mastered the walk, then you master the walk and punch. Then you master the walk, block, punch. And you keep adding, maybe throw a kick in there and keep adding. And then you learn how to put things together in an efficient way. That's what karate is all about. We'll just give you a couple of combinations and repeat at home many times, many times. They say it takes 10,000 movements to master a movement. That's only if you do them right. If you don't, you need to do them again 100,000 times to fix the 10,000 mistakes. So learn it first time, learn it right. Do it slow and then increase speed. So we're going to do the walk and punch again in the small little area that we have, 2 meters. So I'll come into my front stance and I'll just walk and punch. And the other videos show this already, but I'm giving you the exercise in a small section of the dojo. Just like if you were doing this in the bedroom or the basement. Punch, punch, backwards punch, punch. Once you mastered that, then maybe you do one of the blocks. Low block punch, low block punch. Going backwards, low block punch, low block punch. And backwards again. And so on and so forth. Watch some of my previous videos, the earlier ones. They will have them. We're going to make a lot of videos, and a lot of it's going to have the same content. There's a reason for this, because we must master the simple techniques. Walking and punching at the same time. It takes a long time. We're constantly learning, constantly fixing, constantly adjusting our karate movements. So, how about if I need to punch something, how do I know if my techniques are coming along? I need to punch something, but I don't have a heavy bag. I don't have equipment. I don't have a partner. What can I use? Well, if you were outside, you could use a big tree. There was a nice big tree around or the side of your house. And that doesn't mean you go and destroy and punch the tree or the side of your house, or because you'll probably only do it once, you'll probably break your hand or damage the tree and or wall or the house. I'm going to show you something I like to do when I practice and I don't have equipment. So we're going to go to one of our walls. Follow me. Hey Bob, how's it going? That's why he's angry. So I have 2 walls. I have a cement wall, very hard. I punch and kick this thing, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt. Not a good idea. But I'll show you how to use it. And then, like most places, drywall. If I punch this, I most likely won't get hurt, but my fist will go through it. And lucky for me, I know how to fix that. Your mom or dad, or the owner of your house or property, will not like it when there's holes all over the wall. So I'm going to show you 2 ways. One of the kicks I like to teach is a short kick to the shin. Basically, it's a kick that we try to master for distraction, especially if you're a smaller opponent against someone bigger. You want to distract them. It's actually more beneficial if you do it against a wall or something hard. Drywall, I don't want to kick this too hard. And I don't want to make marks on the paint job here. So I want to be gentle, but I want to understand how to do the mechanics of the kick. If you do it well enough, you'll actually crack someone's shin. And if you crack someone's shin, they can't chase and beat you up. And they'll be there crying about their shin while you get to run away. So you have your wall, your hands are up in a fighting position, and you lift your knee, curl your toes like you have high heels on. Remember about the high heel thing, right? You want to curl your toes like high heel. Knee comes up, kick. Back down, lift your knee up, kick. Back down. So you're kicking with the ball of the foot. You're kicking with the ball of the foot. And if you kick too hard, you're going to make a hole. Or if you kick hard and fast at the beginning, you're going to break your toe. So you want to kick slowly. This would be ideal to have something like this nice and tall, nice and long, I can kick hard. But not everyone has equipment like this. Most people have walls, and you could do that to a drywall. And if it's a cement wall, just like this one, then you can kick a little harder. But again, be careful about your kicking. Same thing with my punch. I might want to just set up, and in our dojo, we have something called a makawari board, a piece of wood that we would strike. It's most likely against the wall, or back in the old days, it'd be in a big post drilled into the ground. There'd be ropes around the post, and you punch that. And that conditioned the knuckles and wreck your knuckles, and then you couldn't write and everything, but you'd have one of the best solid punches in the world. Today, we don't need to do that, but we need to practice how to punch without hurting ourselves. I like using the wall. I'll get into my horse stance, and I'll put my fist out and touch the wall. I want my 4 knuckles evenly touching the wall. And that way you line up your bones and your knuckles to be straight. So if you were punching this way, you can sprain your wrist, or crooked this way, you would break your wrist. So what you want to do is align your 2 knuckles all the way up, like one line, and no ski slope or drop. And this is a really good way to practice your punch against the wall. And you just go nice and slow, and every time I contact the wall, I'm making sure all four knuckles are touching. And notice, I'm not going fast or hard. I'm just getting used to the idea. Later, when you do this enough times, you can actually do it to someone. Here's Bob. Again, poor Bob. He's angry. Why? Because I'm going to punch him in the face, that's why. But maybe I don't want to punch him in the face. Maybe I want to be in a position where I can throw my fist as hard and as fast as I can and stop. Control. By doing things thousands of times over and over the right way, you get control. I'm going to throw my fist and I hit Bob. No control. Not good. Throw my fist. Bob's really hurting. No control. Or throw my fist. Throw my fist. Throw my fist. I hit him. But I didn't hit him hard. Superficially. Imagine having the power and the technique down so well that if you were threatened, you punch someone, barely touch them, and have the control to say, hey, if you mess with me, the next one might not be so controlled. That's the beauty of practicing and doing your techniques so well that maybe you'll never have to use them. That's the lesson for today.